Penguin, episodes 2 and 3. I love this show.
Okay.
For a number of reasons. And I think my favourite reason is probably shouldn't be my favourite reason, but I don't know why it endears the show to me very, very near and dear to my heart. I love it so much. And I finally was able to put this into words when I was watching episode 3 with Jenna.
Okay.
Oz is a bad guy, but he's not an evil guy. And what I mean by that is, if you look at how
I get where you come from.
The show, he treats sex workers like humans because they are. He treats people of different sexualities and genders like people because they are. Vic has got a very bad stammer. At no point does he do what you might expect a gangster to do, which is just go, just spit it out.
Yeah.
He is always incredibly patient. But yes, he's a criminal. And it's kind of this respect thing where he's in the case of, if you enter this world, I will respect you, but I'm going to play by the rules of this world, which might mean that I kill you. But if you're a civilian, if you're not part of this world, you're a person, I'm going to treat you like such because I have manners, motherfucker. And that is the most Penguin you can possibly get.
So this is exactly what he talked about in episode 1 when he was talking about the old gangster. And I said after that, I was like, that's showing us where his moral compass is. Yeah. And like you say, as the episodes have gone on, and I think that especially in, I think it's episode 3, when the waiter finishes his sentence and he tells the waiter, don't do that, let him speak. Because he knows, well, one, it's a respect for him, but also I think like he knows to just let him get it out. It's better for him than cutting people off.
No, this is a really expensive place. This kid is important. He fucking matters because I say he do. So you're going to stand there and you're going to respect him and you're going to wait.
Yeah.
And it's a very good thing. It is incredibly rude to like, just, especially someone with a stammer, just to cut them off and finish their sentence for them. It's like, no, they're trying. Have some fucking patience, be a person. And that's all Oz is like. It's like, no, have some fucking respect. And yeah, he uses a bit of his gangster and a bit of his fear to get it done. But this is it's beautiful because it is, he's a criminal, cool. Being a criminal is wrong, but he's not evil.
Yeah, he shows his.
Yeah, anyway, they might make him more evil. But
we get flashes of his like evil gangster side, but then he goes back to being that. No, sort of thinks he's smarter than everyone. So like he said, he flies under the radar, makes himself look smaller. Like he goes back into that, and like you say, it all comes back to he is just being. He respects the people around him and under him. And if they're not part of his world, he gives them respect because he wants to be that gangster he told the story of where the town would give him a funeral if he died.
Yeah.
Even if on their little to their knowledge is he's beating someone to death with like a phone or something or shoving a phone down some guy's throat. Like they've done a very good job of episode 1. They told us that story. And throughout the episodes, they're showing us that is the morality that he wants to follow.
We also see that at the end of episode 3 when Vic's like, I want to go.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, fucking go there. He's like, I can't. And he's like, I'm not holding you fucking prisoner. What, you think I'm holding you prisoner? I don't even fuck. Go off. What the fuck were you before me? And that, again, it shows that flip side of, Oz isn't an evil person, but he's deeply insecure about how people treat him.
He's so used to people ditching him and using him, and he's just like, he doesn't want to.
Great flaw. I mean, that's what put him in this shit show to begin with.
Yeah.
Because Carmine's son was talking shit to him, and he just lost it and shot him at the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's his fatal flaw. Is he's so insecure that he will lash out.
Yeah. I knew. So all of like episode 3, I was just like, Victor's doing the thing that always happens in any gangster film or gangster show. The new kid has a girlfriend who's a distraction, and either she ends up dying or he puts him in a dodgy situation. I was like, he's doing it. Just stop texting the girl. Pick a life. You're going to get yourself in shit. And it almost does. And then it's like,
I'm incredibly glad they went for he just didn't get on the bus.
Oh, I knew that's where I was going.
If they would have fridged her,
So
I
I
would have
knew
been livid.
as soon as he said, buy me a ticket, I was like, he's never getting there for that ticket. I was like, either he chooses not to go, or he essentially gets tied up doing something that makes him, misses it, which is essentially what happened. He was doing the job, and then it's like, he hadn't had that confrontation.
If he made it there in time, he then decided not to get on.
Well, yeah, he made it there. Also, can I point out that she knows he works for a bougie guy, and there's a purple Maserati pulls up at the bus station. You're gonna know that's him. Like,
suspension of disbelief.
I know. But like, I was just like, if that was me, I'd be like, oh, a purple Maserati.
I also loved when he got grabbed by the cop, and the cop was like, "What are you doing with all this money?" And he's like, "I have no money." And I love again how that then becomes like the story they're telling over dinner. And Penguin fucking loves it. He's like, that's the cost of it. Because he's like, he doesn't view it as he's forcing this kid into a life of crime. He views it as I'm giving this kid an opportunity. Because in his head, if the kid goes, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm leaving, he's not going to fucking stop the kid.
Yeah.
But he views this kid as like I don't know, like if you got into the same business as your father and you're joking about like something that both you have to deal with every day.
Yeah.
And he's viewing it that way. It's a father-son dynamic.
Yeah, it is. And he's like, he sees it as like, oh, I definitely was in that situation when I was younger. He just now has a better understanding with certain cops that like he didn't have to give up money for it. And he's like, he's probably seeing like, oh yeah, I went through that. He'll learn. But smart kid to be quick on his feet and give that answer, knowing that Gotham is corrupt and that cop will just go, oh yeah, what money?
Yeah.
It gave me very much Skyrim vibes though, of like, who goes there? And then there's like nobody.
Do you know what really cracked me up about that though? $1,000 a week. It's 52 grand a year. That's a decent amount of money.
Yeah.
We're forgetting something very important though.
Go on.
Gotham is fucked at the minute.
Yeah.
Because of the flood. I want to know what the buying power of $1,000 is right now. That's probably like buying power in Gotham right now. Probably worth 2 or 3 times that.
Well, let's be honest. Probably not anybody paying rent in Gotham.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, that amount of money is probably like actually worth a fuck ton at the minute.
Well, we get spoofed at the start of. I'm completely forgetting like episode 2. Oh, the funeral was episode 2, and the whole setup and all that. But we're talking about the most recent one. But episode 3 opening with the flashback for Vic really threw me at first.
Yes.
Because there was this girl, and I was like, oh, this is who was trying to contact him. He's finally showing us like, oh, this is what he's been up to on the off time. Then it's like, oh, family. It was only sort of like, they're on the roof, and I'm just like, seems very, everything seems fine sort of vibe. And then next second, it's like the fireworks and the explosions. I'm like, oh, wait, this is at the end of the...
This is the night of the flood.
And getting to see that how the moments that ended the film, but from a perspective of just a kid on a rooftop firsthand, like made it so much more brutal. Yeah. And that idea that he watched his apartment where his parents and sister are just get smashed with a wave and destroyed. And then it's like, oh, now we understand how he ended up in this situation.
Yeah. And I saw a lot of people on Twitter just going, yeah, cool, the Riddler was a dumbass. He wanted to get back at the rich, and he's just destroyed impoverished areas. Cool. You're sick, mate. Well done.
Yeah.
Now, on to fan theories.
Okay.
The drug that they are selling to the triads.
Oh, yeah.
That she was being given in Arkham.
Yes.
Who gives out drugs at hospitals? Maybe a psychiatrist?
Yeah.
Do we know of any Batman adjacent psychiatrists that give out psychedelics?
Another Victor?
No. You're thinking of the wrong doctor. Scarecrow. Dr. Crane.
Was he
he's a psychologist.
Oh.
A psychiatrist.
I don't know why I had in my head he was like, wasn't associated with like Arkham in that sense.
No. I mean, I don't know if he's always associated with Arkham, but he is a psychiatrist. bearing in mind the way they're telling stories, bearing in mind we've been told that this show leads into Batman 2, and bearing in mind Scarecrow has been heavily rumored for Batman 2, this drug being a dumbed down version of fear toxin or a component to the fear toxin.
Well, yeah,
Especially when we saw Victor having the bad trip, which made him terrified.
PTSD.
There's
okay, thought then
moving.
on psychiatrist in episode 2. We see Sophia Falcone at her psychiatrist or therapist session.
Okay.
What, and we get the sense from that he's been working with her for a while. What if he was going to Arkham to see her? What if he was part of the person that? What if it's him?
Maybe he's Crane.
I can't remember what his name was. I feel like it showed it.
Did we get a name?
But that doesn't mean that's his actual name. That could just be.
It doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. The Penguin drama miniseries cast.
It was the actor that was in Sons of Anarchy, and I'm forgetting his name now.
Dr. Julian Rush.
Okay, so maybe, but he's a doctor. Maybe could be some link there. But yeah, that idea that it was Scarecrow was maybe where my thought was going.
Oh my god, no, he is. No, he absolutely is. Sorry. Okay, the fear toxin in comic loosely the basic of it is it causes your adrenaline spike and then it mixes other stuff in to create your worst fear. His name is Julian Rush. Adrenaline Rush.
Oh, do you know what? Also, he's using that red flashing light.
Yeah.
That mixed with the red.
He is absolutely Scarecrow or Scarecrow adjacent.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or he's like working with the doctor that is Scarecrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Julian Rush. That is absolutely a fucking a made up name.
Because
maybe Crane's already had his medical license taken away in this
possibly
world, so he's like hiding. Because let's be honest as well, being a psychiatrist in Gotham right now, if you just use a name that isn't the name that's been banned, who's going around doing license checks at the minute? The city's got bigger things to worry about.
Who's the? Because I think it was after episode 2, I kind of wondered who that might be. Which is the doctor that did experiments on patients in?
That was Hugo Strange.
Hugo Strange. That was something else that maybe went through my head because obviously he's like doing weird experiment shit.
He's the kind of guy that would allow that to happen. Or even if he's not directly benefiting from it. But yeah, no, there is my popular theory right now is absolutely this is building up towards Scarecrow.
Yeah, I mean a drug and weird psycho. And somebody having a main character
rush when we know that the fear toxin builds on an adrenaline rush. Like you saw, she was like fucking amped up after that therapy session. Where I'm going to assume they were using a little bit of the medical version of that drug and the red flashing light, which is like this hypnosis. And like this is exactly how I would imagine Scarecrow forward in Matt Reeves' world.
Yeah, agreed. Something I will say about this show, which personally, I think it is a good thing for what this is trying to do. There is a lot of times watching this, I forget I'm watching a comic book show.
Yes.
The way it's shot on this story, because it's very heavily just a gangster story, it's very easy to get lost in the idea that this is just a city and not necessarily a comic book.
I agree. And in a lot of ways, that is a good thing, because as I said, comic book is not a genre. My only concern issue is for the longest time comic book films have felt this need to hit realism. And this show being very realistic and being so good might hurt our ability to get the other end of what comic book films could be, which is bright, colourful, fantastical. Just, you know what I mean? Like, I want my eyes to bleed from how colourful stuff is.
I would count that with sort of Agatha is showing us some of that.
Yes, and it's so good that Agatha is also being incredibly successful at the same time.
Yeah.
Because it is giving us that direction as well.
And
But I need both to allow people to realise that here is an IP. Here
do
is
what you want with
Batman,
it.
Superman, The Flash, whatever. Do it however the fuck you want, as long as you understand these characters and the style makes sense for the story you're going to tell.
I think James Gunn might nail, like, because we know, let's be honest, James Gunn wouldn't be allowing Penguin and this Batman and Matt Reeves to continue doing this world if it was too close of a style to what he was going to be doing. I think it's so polar opposite to what he plans to do with his Batman that we are going to end up in a world where we have both sides of the same coin of Batman.
Yeah.
But for this show especially, Matt Reeves' world works so well at just being like mafia gangster film for a show.
I'm loving it. Jenna is loving it. Ironically, we're watching The Sopranos. So much just life random dump, but it's important context. I love sport. Jenna has really got into sport in the last couple of years. The NFL season's just started. The football season's just started. So when we looked at our budget, we realised we had a bit more money than we thought we did. We decided to get Sky. As a result of that, we got access to Sky Atlantic, which we're watching the Penguin. But I'm also like, I know that the Sky Atlantic and Sky box sets are like the best way to get access to old American shows, which are really good.
Yeah.
One that's been at the top of my list for fucking ever is The Sopranos. So about a month ago, I said to Jenna, I was like, should we start watching The Sopranos? And she's like, I don't know anything about that. I was like, let's watch the first episode, see what you think. Very slow going. It reminded me, and it kind of coincided with the time I started ranting even more about how TV is being destroyed, because I realised what we're missing out on.
Okay.
In the way stories told, not even just like The Sopranos is obviously one of the great shows of all time, but in the way that like they let a story develop. And watching that alongside the Penguin, I'm like, okay, I get why people are saying the Penguin is very inspired by The Sopranos, but doing a gangster film in the state of New York, a gangster show in the state of New York that isn't super like flat caps and Tommy guns is gonna be pretty Soprano-esque.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's more Soprano separated themselves from like what you just said, like the classic gangster mafia vibe. Yeah. So then it's like it kind of set a style tone. So obviously it's one of those things where then anyone that sits in that realm gets compared to the boy at the top.
It's my personal canon that growing up, Oz watched The Sopranos when he was like
that's the gangster
old,
that he was,
and that's the kind of gangster he decided he wanted to be. But yeah, love it so much.
As we've talked about with Agatha, on TV show formats that feel good, I would say the Penguin is nailing it as well with its episodic formatting.
What I will say, for all of HBO's flaws, when they decide to make an actual TV show, they still know to make a TV show.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, they don't do everything perfectly, but they're not doing what Disney Plus's biggest flaw is, which is make a film and cut it into 6, 7, 8, 9 episodes. So yeah, no, I completely agree. I cannot wait for the rest of the show. It's so good. All of the interactions between characters, brilliant. Vic and Oz's relationship developing, phenomenal. I've got a lot of hope for the rest of this season, and it's got me very excited for what Batman 2 might hold as well.
Yes, especially with this whole theory and stuff. Very exciting.